I'm going to go remake my coffee because it was terrible. I can't start stream with a terrible coffee. I'll only be like 2 minutes. Coffee is much better. Right. Start. Hey, Dabba. Oh, Stormfire, I appreciate that very much. Stormfire, fantastic. Long-running supporter of the channel. Beautiful boy. Thank you very much. Genuinely appreciated, sir. Let's do this. Oh, no. Oh, no. It's the worst possible timeline with my head entirely chopped off. How has this happened? I'll tell you how it's happened. It's because I'm a terrible content creator. Or lazy. Is this the one I want? There we go. That'll probably be fine. Hello! I'm BoredGamer. We're talking about Star Citizen. Feel free to ask any questions that you might want to ask by... there's the top of my head. Feeling fly out of my coffee? I don't know what's going on. Feel free to ask any questions you want. Questions in brackets. Question in brackets. And then ask a question. We'll be talking about Star Citizen stuff mostly today. Although I do like to start the streams of talking about what's been going on in my life in general anyway, as more people sort of trudge in. Don't normally stream on a Sunday, and we'll talk about that in a minute as well. But yeah, lots to talk about in Star Citizen. Turbulent have officially joined Clan Imperium. There's still the Foundation Festival currently going on, free fly until 8 PM tomorrow UTC. but Foundation Festival for the rest of the month. It's a pretty minor sort of thing compared to the rest of Star Citizen's sort of events that they run, at least in my opinion. But I suspect they want to have as many of these events as they can justify going on, because it provides them a load of feedback, a load of gameplay, change. There's a load of new people trying the game out, lots of sales opportunities, even if it's quite minor sales-wise for this one. Now, I say quite minor, I haven't actually checked out the funding over the last few days. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at. Not been overly noticeable week-wise, but they've it's pretty minor financially for them, it looks like. Though we can't see that the current month, we can see that the last 4 weeks have been pretty relatively low compared to the weeks before, right? Although that said, May does appear to have been a pretty good month for them. So that's a lot of money. That's 20 million almost. Not sure why I've gone into my Bandersnatch voice, but this is my nerd voice. Right. Yeah. Interesting stuff. Maybe not to you, but it is to me, and it's my channel, so get wrecked. Also, check your stream Steam messages. I sent you a gift. I saw someone had sent me a gift the other day. Or this morning, in fact. Oh, so I'm supposed to be with my mates up in Leeds playing board games. They went to an arcade, doing loads of cool stuff. Seeing Zin, her partner, some of one of my other best mates, Kit, who's Zin's best mate, and a few of our other mates. And yeah, typically we will. Sometimes we go to a Airbnb, and we'll stay there for like a week. And just sort of eat delicious food and play games and all that sort of jazz. And sometimes we go to our mate sort of Kit's house, who's nearby, again near Leeds. And the reason it's Leeds, I'm as far away south as you can get away from Leeds. It's like a 5-hour train journey for me to get up there. That's pretty annoying. But some of our mates are in Scotland, other mates are in Birmingham and Leeds and stuff. It is more central than coming down to me, admittedly. It's still a bit of a ball ache for me. But I've crippled myself on my back somehow. So talk to the doctor. They think it's probably fibrositis. But basically, actually right at the moment, surprisingly, this chair's amazing. But my hand shakes. Unfortunately, my left hand sort of shakes all the time at the moment. But it feels like someone's sort of got like a spear above me and has jammed it through my back, my shoulder, and towards my chest. And it's not like hitting any vital organs, but it's hit all the muscles. And it's sort of, and it feels like there's like it's like running, like a tendon running down my arm or something that's constantly being pulled. Really quite painful. I've taken a lot of painkillers for it. And I probably don't want to spend a 4-hour train journey, a 4 or 5 hour train journey, and sleep in a bed that's not mine, while having that, because the doctor just said rest, and it probably get better after rest. And it has got a lot better. It's still really quite annoying to sleep with, or to sort of, it just subtly flares up. I suppose it's when painkillers wear off. It's not awful. It's just quite annoying. It's very uncomfortable. It's like a spear when it's at its worst, and I'm sort of lifting something. It really hurts. It's like, ah! I suppose probably nothing like actually getting stabbed by a spear. It's probably just a bit of a poke, but it's pretty painful, pretty annoying. And you may have noticed that I've been quite lazy with videos this week. Maybe you haven't. Maybe you're like, that's the kind of content creator you are, Bored. You put them out each day. We don't expect the best in the world. We just want to be updated. And that's what you get from me. But, if you've got any questions in brackets. I am sad that I didn't go up to see them. But there'll be other opportunities. For sure. And I do it definitely was the last night and this morning. I was in a lot of pain, even with painkillers. I was like, definitely best I hadn't gone up. Yeah. Got a lot of 40k Astra Militarum on my desk over there that are all base coated now. So check out my social media if you want to follow my 40k progress. I'll do some exclusive videos for that as well, because they're really quick, dirty, and easy. As videos, me just going, look at my 40k armor. This is what's going on. Here's some pictures. And talking about why I'm doing that, because some of the CIG guys are doing some 40k and some Age of Sigma occasionally, and some of my mates that are CIG have invited me to that. So I was like, oh cool, CIG and friends. So and that's pretty cool little thing. Yeah. So there's some cool stuff happening in the Star Citizen world. There's lots of stuff about 3.20. There's a lot multi-crew. Oh, this is the start with this, and then we'll look at some questions. I'm really disappointed that Alpha 3.20 appears not to have the multi-crew Arena Commander stuff, but it originally was supposed to. And they have recently said it hasn't got past its go-no-go, and that makes it very unlikely that it will actually make 3.20. This is an outrage. This is genuinely upset me, because it's the thing I was most looking forward to, because I was like, there's so much content I can do with that so easily, and I can play that on stream with Zin. I just go to Zin. Let's just do a 2-player Vandal Swarm, and see how far we can get in a ship together. So yeah, 3.20 isn't currently in Eva Carti, being tested with lots of different things, which is cool. It's good to see it being tested so early. Predictions for Final 4 of this year's Ship Showdown. I'm guessing Cutter, C8R, Corsair, and Carrack. That might not necessarily be the case. You could definitely get the Cutlass Black on there, pushing past the Cutter. I suppose you might be right. So they're going to section it off into different roles, aren't they? So they're going to be like exploration and starter ships and stuff like that. So that's a good point. I'll have a think about that, Eminence and Shadow. Again, I like the name. I said that before, but I like the anime. Yes, that's a good question. And it does depend on how they section and group them off, for sure. Because if they put for example, if they put the Cutter, C8R, Corsair, and Carrack all in the same group for some reason, like last year's best as a group, then only one of them would get through, right? Or technically 2 of them. Do you see what I mean? When Evo done, we don't know. So Evo Cardi very early this time for what is effectively a Q3 patch. Went to Evo Cardi, and that's because they're testing loads of different stuff. We know that 3.20 is going to be testing master modes, and it's going to have this huge amount of Arena Commander stuff. There is a good amount of new features and loads of new missions. I think that's the biggest stuff there. Did you ever notice there is no room 5 in the Grimhex Hospital? Is there lore around this? Like the 5 is an unlucky number or something. I didn't ever notice that. Thank you very much. That's a cool thing. I'll go find out at some point. No room 5. I'll put that in my notes. I don't spend much time at Grimhex either. So there's a huge amount of mission content for 3.20 as well. So we're talking about loads of new platforms for Orison and them being switched back on. There's sort of lots and lots of little missions and salvage missions and the stripping missions and stuff like that. What will occur first? You build a home in game, or you buy a home in real life? Probably me buy a home in real life. It's hard to know. In about 6 months' time, I'm going to look properly for a house. I don't think we're going to have house building game by then. Any feedback about the master mode? Not that I can share. Nothing outside of Evocati at the moment. They should start talking about it in Inside Star Citizens when they come back on next week, I think. That's when we have Inside Star Citizen again. But they'll start talking about it for sure. Are you attending CitizenCon this year? And what are your predictions? So, I'm not attending CitizenCon this year. It's in America. I don't travel well. I will consider going to America again in the future. But yeah, as I said, I don't travel particularly well. It's a 2-day event. I will go to most in Europe, and definitely if you're in the UK or in England. So prediction-wise, I think it's going to be very pyro-centric. There's a lot of stuff they can show for pyro. Probably a lot of bounty hunting stuff. Some new ships. There's got to be a Squadron 42 announcement of some kind, even if it's quite a minor one, because they're still not selling Squadron 42 at the moment. I think that's because they said, oh, it's because of a price change, but it also looks to me like it's part of a marketing strategy for Squadron, probably for something at CitizenCon. But it's a 2-day event this year, CitizenCon. They might show some exploration-y type stuff. So after CitizenCon 2019, or at some point from flying from Southampton to Manchester, so north of England, south of England, I got so anxious about being sick on a plane. I was sick on the plane. I had a air hostess holding my hand, getting us right. I was like, I'm so sorry. I do suffer from anxiety, and sometimes it gets the better of me, sort of hacks me. It was really weird. I'm really good at managing my sort of my mental health, as it were now. But sometimes it sort of creeps up on me. I'm a bit erratic. It's a problem with being bipolar, I suppose. But as I said, mine's very manageable. Stormfire, thank you very much for the bits. That's genuinely appreciated. Altitude and turbulence, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. I'm not so good with height anymore. Seeing height. I'm fine in a plane, but if I'm like on a theme park ride, that sort of stuff now. I used to love roller coasters, but now, not so much. The thought of it, not so much. It's quite likely there's going to be a lot of new minor features in 3.20 as well. So, let me bring up. I've brought up the Royal Mail website, but I have. Let's talk about Royal Mail. No, Port Lasar's getting replaced. Got Seraphim Station instead. Looks a bit like Port Lasar, much bigger, has all the facilities of a normal, proper space station. They've got the new Crusader platforms and enabling the old or current Crusader platforms again. So a load of missions associated with them. And there's retrieve consignment missions, which will have you going down into bunkers and basically spawning objects in dispensers and sort of constant enemy waves. Huge amount of Arena Command stuff. Lots and lots of Arena Command stuff. They're sort of revamping loads more maps, improving netcode and tweaking those stuff. New Pirate Swarm, sort of ending loads of new racing maps, in atmosphere maps. Yeah, just a ton of stuff there. They've got a variety of new missions, but the ones we were sure we're getting are the new salvage contracts, and very likely getting those retrieval consignment missions. But there are some others, but potentially. And then you've got the physics update for ground vehicles and the Hull C. And I would expect a good amount more features beyond that. Some minor, but probably with relatively big implications. We'll see these in patch watches. I'm hoping that magically they are able to get the multi-crew gameplay stuff into 3.20, though they did say it was very unlikely now because it failed its go no go, which was the thing I was looking forward to most. Experimental modes. This is a big thing. So experimental modes are being tested. Well, experimental modes are being added to 3.20 in Arena Commander. But as part of this, master modes are available for free fly and doing some other bits as well. So they're testing this stuff out. They're testing the new master mode stuff out. But there's a load of other gameplay modes that you can play, like the Tonk Commander, Tonk Battle Royale, Infinite Wave Vandal Swarm, Gun Rush. So that's like gun game. Loads of cool modes. I think people will be pretty interested in. Just a big shame about that multi-crew stuff. I do think that would have really propelled Arena Commander into a very fun and playable and very popular game mode straight away. I'm looking forward to Starfield. I think it's going to be a good shout. Thank you for all the kind words from everyone. Thank you very much for everyone joining me. As I said, this is not the normal time or day that I would stream, but I very much had some free time. Haven't been streaming during the week because I was in relative pain. Just not too bad anymore. It's almost better, I'd say. I'm able to go about the day without painkillers. I'm looking forward to playing Exoprimal. I've got Zombie Army 4 and Exoprimal that I'm playing with Mateson and Kit. My mate, editor, Lynn. So if there's no big Squadron 42 progress at CitizenCon, how's the community going to take it? Well, we're not 100% expecting Squadron 42 updates or anything like that. So there's monthly updates to Squadron 42 that they talk about. And there have been quite big ones. It's quite a lot of progress with Squadron 42. It's just there's no release date still. So the progress update is not what people are expecting or need at CitizenCon this year. It would be nice to have an announcement. It'd be nice to have a Squadron 42 announcement. I'm thinking next year is going to be big Squadron 42 things and big stuff at CitizenCon. This year, probably more minor. A lot of people think there's going to be a Squadron 42 announcement. I've gone back to keto now. So some people were talking about pastries and donuts. That sounds amazing. However, keto, so no sugar, and no carbs, pretty much. I did have a whole chicken before I started streaming, so I win. Got a nice rotisserie, air oven, air fryer. Oh. Any word on fixes for the Reclaimer? So, a lot of stuff has been fixed for the Reclaimer in 3.19.1. Obviously, still problems. I'm expecting even more fixes for 3.19.2. I would expect in the next few weeks. I'm expecting 3.19.2. They haven't announced one, but I'm expecting one. And obviously 3.20's, what, a couple of months away? Oh, thank you very much for all the compliments for my beautiful, beautiful head. Is Star Citizen optimized more for AMD setups or more for Intel and Nvidia setups? No. It's not really optimized for either. However, I have had best my best experiences have been with Nvidia GPUs and AMD processors. And 64 gigs of RAM. Although I'm currently running 32, but it's pretty fast RAM because I've got an AMD processor. I think I've got a 5950X, and I've got a 3080, my GPU. Runs pretty well. Heck yeah, I'm over in the States. Keep your videos keep me up to date. I've watched you for a couple of years. Keep them coming. No problem. That is what I plan to do. I do appreciate the kind words. Thank you. Regarding surrounding Origin ships and the way they look and are built, combined with the recent leaks regarding boat tech in game, do you think we will be seeing Origin ships as boats, given the fact that a 90 jump already looks like a boat? Okay, so the recent boat leaks aren't, as far as I know, leaks. They've talked about water vessels and boats before. We knew they were working on them for Squadron 42 for some bits for a while. We also knew that they were working on and had been working on buoyancy and proper water tech that interacts with ships appropriately. So boats, one thing, ships with buoyancy, another. It is going to depend whether you've got your engines on, I suppose. There is work going on to that. I'm not sure when it will be here. Obviously, we don't have proper swimming yet. But ships that are more boat-like, I would expect to act better as boats in the water. And there might be a master mode for operator's boat. Like, quite genuinely. Ship in the water, you go, I want it to be boat. Oop. My 890 jump as it's floating around in the sea. When is the C1 Spirit estimated to be released? So, I believe the Spirit series technically has work going on into December. Let me actually bring it up here because so deliverables. Yeah, so it's got work going on until December, and there's likely to be more work needed after that. However, it's possible that the C1, for example, could be done earlier, right? This could be talking about the whole Spirit series, and the C1 might be done for end of September. It's possible, we don't know. Oh, hello. Soon, I'm here. So one of the other things I think we might get in 3.20 is these new points of interest around Stanton. And so they're adding like villages, little fishing shacks, and little towns, and yeah, all these cool ones that there will be missions associated with, but places to explore. Relatively new viewer, do you have any plans for covering other games like Starfield? Almost certainly will cover Starfield. I will cover occasional other games. I've done it with No Man's Sky before, while doing my mass Star Citizen coverage. So probably will cover Starfield, even if it's just a playthrough and general talk about in comparison. What do I think Chris Roberts' favourite biscuit Kickstarter is? Or favourite biscuit is? He probably likes a good chocolate hobnob. That'd be my expectation. I know someone that would probably know. My connections at CIG, I have very odd connections with some friends there, and one of them probably would know Chris Roberts' favourite biscuit, because one of his jobs is to make sure everyone's having a good time in at CIG, and sort of knows how to best look after them. Mostly the like general staff, but I suspect he also knows that. I'm not sure if he would tell me. I have previously asked what Chris's favourite wine was, and he was like, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to share random information like that, because someone else had contacted me because they wanted to send Chris a present. So with the Spirit, although it says the current work is wrapping up in December, this isn't showing downstream teams. This isn't showing VFX, stuff like that. So as you get closer to here, you'll see the other teams, and that might go into March, for example. So just be aware of that. The progress tracker shows relatively accurately what's happening in the next couple of quarters, but doesn't always show what the downstream teams are doing. And yeah, we'll bear that in mind. Very, very accurate for the upstream teams. And stuff changes as well. They're very accurate. Yeah, if you do want to support the channel, best way to do that, you can do that donation via stream. You can become a Patreon. You can use the join button under videos, which is like a Twitch subscription, but for YouTube. You can subscribe on Twitch. Do whatever you want. Whatever is comfortable for you. I like money. Yeah? That's the reason I have all of the different sort of options. But thank you, appreciated. Will there be 32 SU cargo containers in 3.20? So, it looked like, and looks like, there are bigger ones in 3.20. Because if you saw the way that the Hull C got loaded up, because basically one of the things that Hull C can do is it can be contracted in the station. It can go, I buy cargo, then leave the station, contact the station, and the station goes, we'll load your cargo if you go over here. You sort of sit there, stand there, and it will load your cargo up. The sound of cargo being loaded in 3.20, if you're not aware. And those containers looked really big. So I think they're 32 SU cargo containers, but they might even be bigger. So yes, I'm expecting 32 SU cargo containers in 3.20. I think we're going to be getting ship scale tractor beams really soon. They've been working on them. Stormfire, thank you very much for donating all those subs. Coffee Gaming, NVIDIA 101. Jay, I don't know how to say your name. Jace Croft, Capros, and Extreme Terror. You've all been forcibly subscribed to my channel, and thank you very much. Hope you enjoy. There are some exclusive videos which I'm promoting more. We've just put a new one up, and so Sin and I play other games and occasionally have talks and stuff. You'll be privy to those sort of co-op games, some other Starsets and stuff, some stuff to affect the channel. Yeah, some silly exclusive videos. Do you think CIG will offer the same paints for the X1 as the 400i so they match? I really like that idea, and I hope they do. In the future, I believe we're going to get a much more custom system for painting our ships. I think that skins will still exist, but they'll be more sort of intricate. Like, I'll be like, I want a dragon on my ship. But there will be a basic painting system so you can make stuff look and sort of is coloured the same. Will the 32 SU containers fit in any other ship? So, it's possible when you buy cargo, it will just go, there's a 32 SU cargo container in the back of your ship instead now. Although, again, I'm expecting that maybe they'll have the larger tractor beams and ship scale tractor beams before that, and that you'll only get the 32 SU cargo containers on the Hull Seas and the Raft and stuff like that. They haven't confirmed. That's the problem. They haven't confirmed that yet. We've only seen sort of videos and pictures, which doesn't necessarily mean that it's definitely in there. Classic Rogue, thank you very much. Or Classic Rouge, as I hear that noise. Thank you very much for becoming a Star Citizen member. A Star Citizen member? BoredGamer member? BoredGamer is Star Citizen. Bam. Yeah, I said it. I said what we're all thinking. Thank you very much for becoming a channel member on my YouTube, using that join button. Genuinely appreciated, sir. I've been out of the loop for a while. What major content will we expect from 3.20? I've talked about this before, but I do not mind talking about it again. So lots of mission content. So expect lots of missions to be activated, new points of interest around Crusader, platforms there, platforms being enabled again, missions there. There's retrieval missions now where you'll go down to bunker and basically you can spawn items in a dispensary and then stay there for as long as you want, but harder and harder waves of enemies come along and there's lots of valuable items to be found there. There's new salvaging missions to have you sort of scrape off the identifying marks of a ship. You'll have to actually buy a vulture in game as well, which is very, very useful. It looks like lots of new points of interest are turning up. There's sort of new settlements all over Stanton, which are pretty cool. That's not confirmed, but it looks likely. They've been talking about it for a while. Port Olisar's getting replaced by Port Seraphim, or Seraphim Station, I think it's called. And that's basically looks a bit like Port Olisar, but is much, much bigger and has all of the facilities that you would expect from a modern station. Arena Commander, huge Arena Commander updates, loads of new maps, atmospheric maps, so Planet Green, which you can technically explore. You can do Pirate Swarm there, you could do Vandal Swarm there, new Pirate Swarm ending, with like a proper big fleet battle. You've got experimental modes, master modes being tested. Huge amount of gameplay going on with Arena Commander. They're really trying to catapult it into like a competitive, played and fun thing. Private matches or custom matches are returning. You've got the Hull C, got a physics update for vehicles, and I would expect a lot more other bits and bobs turning up for that patch as well. Unfortunately, the multi-crew stuff for Arena Commander, being able to spawn in the same ship, is not there for 3.20, or it's unlikely to be there, but it will be either in a 3.20.x patch or the next major patch. It is a priority. Other some other experimental modes is like tank battle. You go bam, jump into tanks and just shoot each other. Squadron battle version of that. But lots of missions. Lots of updates there. Alright, what else? What else we got question-wise? Question. Regarding law surrounding origin ships and the way they look and are built, combined with the recent leaks, that's what we talked about boats earlier. Pyro 3.20, new. Although the Pyro Skybox is appropriately being used by Dying Star. What does the Star Citizen end game look to you? Oh, so they, after a version 1 release, they are going to support the game for a decade or two afterwards, almost certainly, right? And they'll keep on adding more and more star systems. So I'm expecting a couple of a dozen or a couple of dozen star systems for the initial release. I'm expecting all of the gameplay modes to be relatively flashed out, what we expect, including base building and a proper dynamic economy, a dynamic universe. But yeah. I probably should do a video on Star Citizen's minimum viable product, which is effectively a rough version 1 release. Yeah, MMOs don't have an end game. Yeah, but I suppose that's what it is. You can talk about what's a version 1 release of Star Citizen look like. What's the late game of that look like for players? What's all the content involved in that? What Campbell ship are you looking forward to? I mean, I've got a javelin, so probably a javelin. The more Campbell ships in game, once we've got server meshing, and that sort of stuff, and a better netcode, just allows us to have fleet battles, and that's going to be superb. I suppose we want the resource management system as well, so we can have physical components and physicalized damage. There's every new viewer here. Have you got any plans for covering other games like Starfield? As I said earlier, yes, Starfield. I probably will do some stuff on. How do you feel about Cloud Imperium Group acquiring Montreal-based studio Turbulent? So Turbulent and Cloud Imperium have been working together for years, since the very early days of Star Citizen. And a few years ago, they both bought, did basically like an equity swap of companies, and where they went, let's own some of your shares, you own some of our shares. So they had an investment in each other effectively, and they both wanted each company to do well. The acquisition of Turbulent by Cloud Imperium means that Turbulent will be taking on less, if not no more new clients, would be my expectation, and just focus on Cloud Imperium stuff for the most part. The old clients they still look after, probably have contracts with and stuff, and they might look at other clients in the future, maybe, but it's going to be much more Cloud Imperium focused, and they're going to be expanding their studio a lot more as well, again with more of a Cloud Imperium and Star Citizen focus. And I do believe it's not just website and back-end and stuff like that anymore with Turbulent. They do work on points of interest, they do work on a load of in-game dev stuff as well, not just website and star map. So I think it's a great look for Cloud Imperium and for Turbulent to ratify that sort of plan together more. And but it is a big liability for Cloud Imperium. They've got over 1,100 employees now, and they are growing so quickly. Obviously, they've got that big studio in the UK now, which they're looking to fill as it gets built out, and they're going to be over 1,700 employees within like 3 years. That's what it looks like at the moment, and they might even be more, and it might get closer to like 2,000 if they expand out those studios even further. So we'll have to sort of wait and see. But it's a big liability for them. There's a lot of people, and that means that they need more money coming in each year. Although maybe not more, maybe the same amount as they've got coming in each year, but they're going to want to push more, right? Their marketing team, not always they're great at making money, but sometimes they make missteps in how friendly they look, how consumer friendly they are. Ramos, thank you very much for continuing to be a YouTube member. Very much appreciated. Thank you. Genuinely appreciate that. It helps to keep the channel going. I say helps to keep it going. We're gonna be going for years. We're gonna be going for years because I know what you want. You want regular Star Citizen content, and even if you don't want that, that's what you're getting. But it does genuinely help support the channel. Obviously, I do pays in full time to do editing. We are going to be doing a lot more in the future as well. Oh wow. Not reading that out. Arena Commander could allow for deep training simulations and also drop-in group play. So essentially it would be our dungeon system with matchmaking, ranking, and a way to find solo players for contract. I just think that, yeah, Arena Commander has a huge amount of possibility of bringing Star Citizen significantly more mainstream, and people going, look, it's not a buggy piece of shit, right? They go, Arena Commander works great. The Persistent Universe, yeah, it's buggy. It's very much an alpha for a reason, but that Arena Commander stuff, that's pretty ironed out. That's pretty refined. I think that's a genuine way they could go. Obviously, they can have experimental modes which are very alpha, and that's really some of the things they're doing with like master modes, for example. But yeah, I really like the possibility there. I really like the if I had been running the Star Citizen project and they said you have to have something playable, I'd have gone, but let's focus just on Arena Commander and then the development of the game. We could develop Star Citizen, just bam, let's go with that. Don't have a playable product for the Persistent Universe, just have a refined Arena Commander while we're getting the Persistent Universe on track. Occasionally have play tests for the Persistent Universe, and when we need to play test it or stress test something. Because then people are going to be like all over that Persistent Universe when you do the tests for it. But then you have a much more refined and product with Arena Commander. But that's just how I do it with hindsight, and not necessarily the best idea. I mean, I certainly don't have any better ideas than Cloud Imperium for the most part. They are able to run a multi-million-dollar studio very well financially, and it seems to keep on growing. Right. Sketch Therapy, I do appreciate that. Thank you very much, beautiful boy. Well, World of Warcraft's endgame is to keep on producing expansion packs. But endgame, I think that the gentleman meant version 1 release. Love you, keep up the good work. Thank you very much. That's genuinely appreciated. Do you think master modes will take a while to implement to the PU, seeing there are so many ships that they have to add them to? Yes, so they're testing master modes with Gladius at the moment in Ivacari. And it is a refactor for all ships, effectively. So yes, it's going to take a while. It's one of the reasons that they are doing the Ivacari test so early for 3.20. Do you think the Fury lives up to TIE Fighter? It's got a little bit of a vibe there. Not yet. Wait until we've got the proper flight model and everything like that refined. And then let's see how that sort of stuff flies. How it plays, right? Do you know if the ASOP terminals will have search bars anytime soon? Expect more features and filters and stuff like that coming for them, almost certainly. They will get them more feature-filled and then refined. So some features they'll go, this is a great feature, and then go, well, actually, no one's using it, and it sort of clutters. Do we know what performance uplift we'll get with Vulkan and further Gen 12 updates? No, we don't. I would expect a lot of performance improvements and scalability and graphics options that work with the Vulkan integration. Could we have Vulkan integration properly in 3.20? It is certainly possible. I think quite likely. And a slew of graphics options I would expect to come with that. Do you know if they will include NVIDIA Ace in the AI? Do not know. They've not talked about it. They've not talked about anything like that. So probably not a plan at the moment. So master modes will only be on Arena Commander, or will it be live? So at the moment in Eva Kati, it's being tested in Arena Commander experimental modes. That's the only information I have for you on that. Like, I don't know beyond that. What do you see Endgame of Star Citizen being based around? It will depend on what you want to do. So Clan Imperium very much are allowing you to do what you want to do. So if you want to just run missions for bounty hunting, if you want to go base building, if you want to go do big org scale stuff in dangerous systems, what's endgame Eve based around? It depends on where you're going to be in zero sec space. It depends if you're mining. When you look at the more complex stuff, it's sort of all of that together as a big org, right? I'm quite excited for Turbulent being acquired officially by CIG. I think that's a great idea. I also want Cloud Imperium to, and they are going away as far as possible from contractors and doing everything as in-house as possible, sort of focused. It's expensive over the sort of long term, but I think it is what they want for the game, and they are able to generate enough money at the moment, although there are more and more liabilities as they expand. I'm looking forward to the Santokyo. Again, I don't think the Santokyo is going to be before December. I'm going to see a big difference between master modes and actual flight system we have now. So, there's a few things happening. They are improving atmospheric flight, and they are making control surfaces work. So, wings, winglets, flaps, all that sort of stuff really affect how you fly in atmosphere. Master modes, there's going to be a huge difference to what we have now in game and master modes, because basically you are either got your shields and your weapons on and your sort of other systems, and you're flying around, but you can't go above SCM speeds, you can't go into quantum, or you're in nav mode and you can go into quantum, you can quantum boost as well, which do a short jump, and you can go in SCM speeds. And basically the idea here, but you don't have access to your weapons or shields, and some other basic functions, like I would expect, like your mining lasers and stuff. So the idea here is that you're choosing to either fight and scan stuff or travel. And there's sort of like a switch over period where you're moving into one from the other. Your shields are sort of like spool down and all that sort of stuff. So it's going to be dangerous to try and escape if you're fighting, because you'll sort of have to try to disengage, and then someone might see you running and fire missiles after you or whatever, and you're not just going to instantly be in like top speed. But conversely, there needs to be ways of stopping players from just escaping really easily in cruise mode, just going and then quantum jumping away. So that, obviously there are quantum interdiction ships, but there needs to be other forms of interdiction or webifying or something like that, right? Maybe? You think Star Citizen is maligned by concern trolls that do it for things in every game, and they've done it for decades. This game gives you most bang for buck, and you can grind for what's sold. So, okay. I actually think there's not that many. All games have concern trolls in Reddit and on their forums and stuff, yeah? Or people that just maybe see something very different to you, or more paranoid than you, or see something as more scummy than, or whatever. So, Star Citizen community is pretty big, and it's only getting bigger. And there are people that have been with the project for 10 plus years, effectively, and some that are entirely new. And there's lots of clashing opinions. And I think that it's a very minor amount of people that actually have that are concerned trolling. Some people have legitimate problems. I think a lot of, by a huge portion of the Star Citizen sort of community is kind of giving Clan Imperium carte blanche to take as long as they need to and give them as much money as they want, effectively, right? To me, it's 10 plus years of concern trolling. But I think that it's no problem listening to someone's or reading someone's point of view, even if you totally disagree with it. Be like, okay, don't agree with that at all. You don't have to like try to defend that point or anything, unless they're specifically targeting you and asking you something, and then you can be pretty chill about it. But be concise and kind. You don't have to defend Star Citizen, and that's none of our jobs. Star Citizen will and should stand by itself, and I think that in a few years it's going to be looking absolutely fantastic. I've seen some videos and stuff recently titled like Star Citizen getting old before it's even released, before it's new effectively. And like, is Starfield just looking so much better than it? I don't think so. I don't think Starfield looks nearly as good graphically as Star Citizen, but it's going to be a finished, polished product. Hopefully, hopefully Starfield is. Was it Todd Howard again told me it just works, and I just hopefully Starfield will be a good laugh. I'm looking forward to it. What are you most excited about for 3.20? Well, it was the multi-crew ability with the new Arena Commander stuff, but seeing that the multi-crew ability, the multi-crew stuff seems to have been pushed to from the initial patch at least. I mean, I am excited to see a load of that new Arena Commander stuff and the master modes. I am going to be playing a load of those master modes, experimental modes and master modes as part of that. Any idea if and when they will allow party members to bedlog on each other's ships again? That will be a thing, but I don't know when. Sort of pushing towards more server meshing-y type stuff and better net code for things, so that they don't despawn ships or they respawn them appropriately when you log back on. Famous last words, it just works. Starfield's got a load of features and a load going on with it. A load of procedural tech, and it doesn't look bad. And I expect it's pretty scalable and can look pretty. What do you think of CIG mentioning the Cutlass as a vehicle with Pirate Swarm reward instead of the Gladius on Star Citizen Not So Live? Do you think it was a mistake or intentional? It's possibly going to be a new thing that you can get, right? Oh yeah, I didn't realize they said Cutlass, did he? They didn't say Gladius. Yeah, maybe it's an additional reward. Did CIG give you an invite to this coming CitizenCon? I had not been specifically invited by CIG. No, I'm probably not. I'm not planning to go. I mean, if they gave me an all expenses paid trip, I'd consider it, and then I'd probably go. Backers would resent me for that because it would be effectively backer money, right? Unless it was being paid for effectively by CitizenCon ticket money. There's some stuff I wouldn't like to do because it would be used against you, right? It's not even a moral thing for me. It's a business decision for me. Okay, doesn't necessarily look great. Right. So 3.20, I'm pretty excited for. Shame about the multi-crew stuff, but I think it's looking pretty good. Sort of Foundation Festival, I think it's a pretty minor thing. Like, obviously, Free Fly's been cool, get 12 ships. I don't think a huge amount of new players have been playing, but I think a good amount have. It's not sort of like, it wasn't super advertised everywhere, was it? Star Citizen Free Fly, sort of waiting for Star Citizen to be in a great place, and hopefully that will be soon. But I do think that Arena Commander in 3.20 and the patch afterwards, you'll get even more updates and probably multi-crew by then. that potentially put Star Citizen in a much better position for free flies and stuff, getting players in to be able to enjoy that gameplay and content and combat, right? Much easier to show Star Citizen off to someone by going, let's play Pirate Swarm, or let's do a race, or let's do one of these experimental modes, because it's quick, easy, bam. You don't have to show them this is what a crash looks like for the 20th time, and you don't have to do a huge tutorial. Although maybe you could argue if you're doing Pirate Swarm, you might need one. Hopefully they fix the cockpit FPS issue in certain ships in 3.20. And then there's loads of other outlying issues as well that I'd like them to fix. But I suppose at the moment, some of the biggest stuff is desync and jitter. Any idea if and when? That's what we talked about earlier. Yeah, so I'm not sure if much is happening this week in Star Citizen coming. Obviously, sort of more of the Foundation Festival. Yeah. Oh, a huge week for Star Citizen coming up. So should be pretty chill. Have you played during Free Flight? Yes. Been surprisingly stable. No worse than normal. Yeah, it's because, okay, so it's typically the dynamic events which cause problems. So them adding like Xenothreat and having a load of people trying to go to the Xenothreat areas and them trying to run Xenothreat and Xenothreat not being cleaned up properly. That's sort of issues that they have, or the Jump Town or whatever. And when you have like a load of players at Jump Town and you see the desync and invisible players and stuff like that, or not see them, as the case may be, that's when you get pretty annoyed and pretty stressed. And you see the holds in Star Citizen at the moment. But yeah, I totally agree with you. 3.19.1 overall, when dynamic events aren't running, great patch, genuinely great patch. But I want there to be the ability for them to run Xenothreat and Siege of Orison, and to me to really look forward to that. I think we will with 3.20. I do think there's going to be some refinement there. I've been through many free flies. Maybe I'm wrong, but it just seems better than your typical free fly. I mean, the patch is in a great shape, so yeah. Typically, they've been running free flies at the sort of tail end of much more busy times as well. But right, I'm going to see who else is streaming at the moment. Online, I am going to potentially get a video out. Oh, Zin's Law, I think, is moderately popular at the moment. So, I hope people are enjoying that. I'm going to send you over to Salty Mike, because he's doing his, doing a podcast on Star Citizen hardcore MMO mechanics. You can go check that out. Put that here. Yeah, thank you very much for watching. And bear with me 1 second, because what I'll do is I will start sending you over there, and we'll talk about a couple of things. Doing Flash Raid. That's the thing I'm trying to do. Flash Raid. Oop. Fantastic. No worries. So you don't always have to like the people I like. I will sort of share the love around. The artist previously known as Twerk17, Salty Mike, is one of my good mates and has looked after me for a while when I was bad, and obviously I did Redacted with him. And I like Salty Mike's opinions and stuff. I think he's honest and sudden in his emotions, and does think about stuff as well later, and at the time. I mean, but, I like a rounded Star Citizen sort of content creator crowd, right? And I like people from lots of different backgrounds and lots of different opinions, all sort of chucking their voices in the pot. Is different from mine. He's a lot more critical, grumpy than I am. And yes, thank you so much for watching. Genuinely appreciate it. Thank you very much for all of the subs and donations and bits. Thank you very much for my beautiful mods for just turning up. I don't tell them I'm streaming or anything. They just turn up and they help, so that's genuinely appreciated. And give Salty Mike some love. And I'll see you guys soon. Peace.